Hello, my Dharma friend. So let's study the Sutra Perfect Enlightenment, page 164. In reality, there are no stages. Good sons, although the self-nature of perfect enlightenment is not a nature, like the previously described natures, nonetheless, a nature exists that is concomitant, concomitant with the arising of all natures, but there's neither acquisition nor realization of it. From the point of the view of reality, there are actually neither Bodhisattva nor sentient beings. Why? Bodhisattvas and sentient beings are nothing but illusory appearances. And since illusory appearances are erased, there is neither acquirer nor realizer. It is like the eye not being able to see itself. In the nature of its own equality, there is nothing that is equal. Such a profound statement by Buddha. It's really hard for the mind, the worldly mind, to grasp. You see, the self-nature of perfect enlightenment is not a nature, is not a fixed thing, it's a formless. Yet every form is included. It's a formless form, meaning it's formless but with infinite possibility of forms. So that's what the statement means by saying the self-nature of perfect enlightenment is not a nature, is not a fixed thing, but every possibility is included. Nonetheless, a nature exists that is concomitant with arising of all natures. It's like an empty vase. You can pour all the liquids, every kind of liquids. You can pour into that vase. This vase is infinite big and infinite small. It's you, the pure consciousness. But there is neither acquisition nor realization of it, because you are the Buddha already. So I gave a metaphor that imagine you have a friend and he or she has a self-introduction. He or she step on the stage in front of like hundreds or a couple of people and introduce himself as, "Hi, everybody, I am a human." So you will be very strange. Why you say you're human? So in the same way, Buddha never say he's a Buddha, because Buddha is a convenient way. It's the convenient way or opposite of the human. Once there's no human, there's no worldly people, so the Buddha loses its meaning too. So there's neither acquisition nor realization of it, because you are already it. Even the realization of the original face is extra word. So there's neither acquisition nor realization. From the point of view of the reality, there's actually neither Bodhisattva nor sentient beings. Such a profound statement here. Why? Bodhisattvas and sentient beings are nothing but illusory appearances. That's why Buddhism is so profound, so fundamental. And since illusory appearances are erased, there's neither acquire nor realizer. It is like the eye not being able to see itself. In the nature of own equality, there is nothing that is equal. 性自平等，无平等者. It's like everything you can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can smell, you can touch, you can think. It's all of you. It's all of you. So everything is equal, but if everything is one thing, there's nothing that is equal. There's no comparison anymore. This is really hard for the worldly mind to grasp. If everything is all of you, yet only you, so this you disappears too. Is originally equal. In the nature's own equality, there's nothing that equal. In a worldly equality, we compare A to B and say A and B is equal. No, it's wrong. In the ultimate truth, there's nothing as A nor B, because A is B, B is A. Everything is you, yet only you, until this you disappears too. Okay, so we are page 164. The end of 164. I read Chinese first. 众生离岛，未能剪除一切幻化。于灭未灭，妄功用中变显差别。若得如来寂灭随顺，实无寂灭及寂灭者。So in English, sentient beings are thoroughly confused and are unable to rid themselves of all illusory appearances, things they have not extinguished. The mark of cessation in illusory activity. They automatically make discriminations if they attain accordance with extinction of Tathagata. There is really neither extinction nor person who brings extinction about. We are so thoroughly confused about the reality. We think all the phenomena world is true. But in the Buddha's eye, the phenomena world is not true. Fundamentally, it's our illusion. That's the right view. If you don't have this right view, everything you look is wrong. Every understanding is wrong, totally wrong. We are in a dream. We are in an illusory world, and we take everything for sure, absolutely sure. It's wrong view. So cessation beings are thoroughly confused and are unable to rid themselves of all illusory appearances. Since they have not extinguished the marks of sensation in illusory activity, they automatically make discriminations. We make discriminations because we have no sense of oneness. We don't have the sense of non-duality. we have once awakened being have the sense of oneness. He or she still has the power of discernment, but in all the differences, he sees the sameness. Underneath all the complexity, he or she see the simplicity. That's the wisdom. You see, if all the sentient beings attain accordance with the extinction of the Tathagata, there is really neither extinction nor person who brings extinction about. There's no individual persons in Buddha's eye. Everything is one thing. Everybody is Buddha. Everything living in the ultimate truth. No matter how different it looks superficially. In Buddha's eye, everything comes from one thing. That's why we call non-duality or oneness. So we are on page 165, the beginning of the page 165. Very important here. The translator's note. Kiwa, again, has his interpretation or comments. Kiwa is the Korean master in 14th century. So he said, the four marks are the marks of arising, abiding, changing, and cessation, which Kiwa, the Korean master, treats according to the frameworks of awakening of faith. The awakening of faith, 大乘起信论, is another book or commentary from the masters to talk about the Mahayana Buddhism, the awakening of faith. So the meaning of these four marks, again, the four marks of all the phenomena world, arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. 成, 生, 住, 意, 灭. So in Chinese we say 生, 住, 意, 灭. Arising, everything arise, or if it's an organic organism, living organism, we say be born. So arising for non-sentient stuff, and born for organism. Then abiding, 住. So arising like creation of the earth, planet Earth. Then the second phrase or second marks is abiding, 住. There's a kind of development, come into formation, takes a little while. So abiding. So in a sentient organism, maybe could be a development, growing, like a tree grows from a seed and from a sprout and grows because of the sunlight, because the rain drops, and it grows. Abiding. Then the third mark is changing. So changing, if we talk about the formation of the earth, is like through millions or billions of years, earth is changed, the continents moves, the ocean changes here and there, the temperature, the atmosphere. So that's the third mark of changing for non-living organism like earth, like a rock. So if it's for like a organism, living organism or sentient being, like a human, so we are getting aging. So born, growth, aging, or mature, like that. And the third mark is cessation. If for non-sentient organism or for a rock or for planet Earth, the destruction of the planet Earth or destruction of anything. But for your living organism, maybe it's the death. So rising, abiding, changing, and cessation. Cessation for long living stuff, like a planet, like a rock. But born, birth, growth, aging, and death. That's for living organism or sentient beings. So the four marks of any phenomena world, the four marks of any existence, we can simplify as arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. Cessation, or birth, growth, aging, and death. So if you really understand this, then everything is in movement of birth and death, arising and cessation. That's the wisdom. If you have that Dharma eye to look into everything you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste, you can think, everything comes and goes. Everything changes. The ever-changing world, including our mind and body, the ever-changing phenomena world. So we are page 165. The meaning of these four marks as developed in the Awakening of the Face, another Mahayana Buddhism book, that in each thought, very important sentence or verse, that in each thought or thought moment had these four aspects: arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. In the terms of exercise of gaining awareness of thought in meditation and eliminating is mistaken function. The most subtle and difficult point at which one can be aware is the point of arising of the thought. So if you meditate every day, if you're a frequent meditator, you may perceive the rising of the thought. Like now, every moment, every word I'm talking, there's a thoughts or words rise in my mind. So if you're a good meditator, you can see the mind arising, the thought arising, and my mouth is like moving, speaking. So that's why here we say the most subtle and difficult point at which the practitioner can be aware is the point of arising of the thought. So the first mark of all the phenomena world, including our body-mind. So you see, it breaks down to the very small scale of thoughts. We can see if you zoom out to look a big picture of a life, birth and death as a human being, say 100 life year span, from day of born and to the end day of death, you can see the arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. Or if a human being is born, growth, aging, and death, right? You can see that total picture very clearly. But if you can zoom into each thought, every thought has four marks too: arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. So you have that delicate mindfulness. It's like you are measuring of the unit of measuring or perceiving is so subtle that you can measure your thought. Every thought has four marks: arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. And another thought arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. Another thought arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. Wow, you're a master of meditation. Then you see a total picture of a different world. It's crazy. Anyway, we are page 165. The meaning of these 4 marks, as developed in the awakening of faith, is that each thought or thought moment had these 4 aspects: arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. You have to be very alert. Very focused. To see your thought has these 4 marks: arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. Wow. You are the most profound psychologist in the world. Now, because you can dissect your thought into, every thought into 4 marks. Okay, let's go on. The most subtle and difficult point is at which you, the practitioner, can be aware the 4 marks of each thought. And the most subtle or difficult is that you can aware the arising of the thought. And the most coarse and easiest point at which one can cut off thought is at its point of cessation. For a comprehensive discussion of 4 marks, there's another book, but we are not talking about here. So we go on, we're page 165. In his commentary to this passage, Zhongmi, so Zhongmi who is a Chan master, but he bring this Sutra Perfect Enlightenment into Chan school, into Zen school. So it's a blend of Zen Buddhism and the Chan tradition and this sutra. So it's a good blend. Anyway, Zhongmi is a master in Tang Dynasty between 7 centuries, around 7 centuries in China. So Zhongmi master also makes reference to the 4 marks of awakening faith, but does not discuss them to the extent that keyword does here. So these 4 marks are to be distinguished from the 4 traces of self, person, sentient beings life. So 无我相、无人相、无受者、无众生相、无寿者相. So it's different. So anyway, it's not our topic either. You see, very important, on the end of page 165, Kiwa again, the second line is the consequences of 1 instant of delusion in this mind is the 4 marks. The consequence of the 4 marks is a cyclic existence. So every thought comes, arise, abides, changes, and cease. So every thought comes like that. Arise, abides little for a couple of seconds, and modify itself or change itself, because with different ideas or different images or different memories or different plannings for the future. So every thought is dynamic flow, is a dynamic interaction and with every other factors of the mind, like memory, like your perception, like your how your memory, your perception, your understanding of the external world and internal world. Such a beautiful, beautiful description here. So every moment is different. Now we're talking about in terms of thought or in terms of mental activity. So Kiwa breaks down every thought into 4 marks: arising, abiding, changing, and cessation. So it's a cyclic existence. Very much the way we are walking. So if you really have a mindful walking, so imagine this is my feet, left, right, left, right. So you have, so for sure, for example, when you arise, your left foot and steps, then your right foot arise and put it down. So you have these 4 steps. Actually, every walking has 4 steps too. So if I just arise, abiding, changing, and a cessation. Arise. So it says arise, abiding, changing, and the cessation. So 4 steps. So every cyclic existence have this 4 marks. Or if you put simple ways, changing, it's always changing. Or put 2 words, it's born and, how to say, arise and cease, arise and cease, arise and cease. You see how Buddha's view on the nature of the phenomena world. 4 marks of cyclic existence. So we can use these 4 marks talking about like a lifespan: born, growth, aging, and death. Also, we can use these 4 marks to a very short time, like a thought: arise, formation, and abiding, changing in relation to the memory, to your perception, to the external surroundings, and to your inner mental activities. Such a complex interaction phenomena, actually. Amazing. If you want to lay bare cyclic existence, you need to extinguish the 4 marks. Since these marks are originally empty, that's important. So samsara is a cyclic existence too. Samsara, the suffering, is a cyclic existence. Our birth and death is a cyclic existence. But if you really see the nature of all the cyclic existence is empty. Since these 4 marks are originally empty and take their substance based on falsity, because we are ignorant, because we don't have wisdom, we don't have the right view. They are called illusory transformations, illusory birth and death, illusory suffering, is illusory samsara. Since these marks are already illusory and their extinction cannot be real too, crazy, they are understood as having function but are still called false. See, we can talk, you can listen, we can see. This is all our human functions, but fundamentally, all these human function can be called false or illusory, fundamentally in a relation to the ultimate. So everything we can think, see, touch, smell, taste are all the functions of the absolute. Our body and mind is the application of the absolute. So in relation to the absolute, the body and mind are illusory, are false. That's why we say here, it's such a fundamental comparison. Or we can say, if I and everything that is not I is a fundamental comparison. Make sense? We have so many things in the world, but I can simplify into two categories. One is I, and the other or others are everything that is not I. Make sense? But who are you? Who is this I? Do you have a complete understanding of who are you or I? If we identify with the body mind, then we suffer, because as Buddha said, everything has four marks: arising, abiding, changing, and a cessation. So the body will, in terms of body, birth, growth, aging, and death. If we identify with this body and mind, we suffer, because why? It will gone someday. No matter how healthy you are, this body will be gone. It means if you identify with the body, you will gone. You will be gone. No, it's a wrong view. It's a wrong identity. So everything comes from how do you perceive yourself? Who are you? Who am I? Is the fundamental question. If you got this question right, or you do have a right answer, everything you will have answer, right answer. If you do got a wrong answer for this most fundamental question, every else question or every question else is wrong. If you don't get this wrong, because this is the fundamental question: who are you? Oh man. Hello. So we are page 165. This chapter or this page is really contains huge information. So as a conclusion, if you do have the wisdom to see that every phenomena will have four marks: arising, abiding, changing, and the cessation. then you see everything is a cyclic existence. But fundamentally, all this cyclic existence, the phenomena world, is our illusion, is illusory. Once the illusion is expelled, or once ignorance is removed, then you have that clarity to see everything.